Hey, 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 we're chubby.
That's right.
We're drinking Busch Light. We're Chubby Bartenders. Got a special guest with us. We're Chubby Bartenders. That's right.
That's right.
Woo. Yes, tune in.
Hey guys, it's Chad and Pudge here with the Chubby Bartenders, and look at what our good buddy at Bronx Metalworks made for us. Have you ever wanted a sign like that for your house? Maybe, what would you have?
Hey, I'll tell you what, buddy. I'd put one right behind my couch.
Ooh,
okay, right up in the middle of the living room. Reynolds, established 2011.
Ooh, you need that. You want a welcome sign, you want your farm name, anything. Call our buddy at Bronx Metalworks at the number above, and John will hook you right up, man, if you want any of these things right here.
You will not believe this man's work.
He can do anything. So give that guy a call at the number above, Bronx Metalworks, John Daniels. He does great work. Thank you, John. See you, buddy.
John.
It's a science phrase.
Audio static?
I honestly don't know, but it's like it's audio sensory something. Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Make the guy who doesn't have the microphone look it up on his phone.
Well, Josh Radcliff, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest with us tonight from Athens, Ohio. Got a lot to talk about. And we're going to dive into that, but first we got to thank a few folks.
Absolutely.
And I tell you, I caught a little hell this week.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Jason Prater said, I can't figure this out. He goes, how many McMuffins I got to buy before I get ahead of mine?
Oh, he wants to go first.
He wants to go first. So Jason Prater at AP Prep.
AP
you know,
Prep.
you guys are at your first. We can't thank those guys enough. They've jumped on board with us since the very beginning. Look them up. They've got a great regiment for adults, kids. It doesn't matter if you're somebody looking for a way to better yourself and earn the day. That's the slogan over there at AP Prep. That's a place to go. They've got lots of people that will jump in and help you. So look those guys up at apprep.info or look them up on Facebook at apprep@facebook.com. So, who's the next one?
Well, let's shuffle the order, man. I want to talk about Gillum Insurance.
Hey, let's talk about it.
I mean, let's talk about.
Josh is a client.
Yeah, we've got a client sitting right here. Let's talk about if you need auto, home, life, farm, commercial insurance.
Yep.
You've got it all. I'm sure
Life is hot.
And I'm sure you're happy to do a policy review with anyone. The life rates are great. And let me tell you what, life insurance is on sale today because it could be a lot more expensive tomorrow or unattainable.
Yes, and I just came from a funeral.
Yep.
And that is something that everybody needs. You know, we never know.
You don't like to think about it, but
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And you know, I think this guy is going to live a little bit longer because of Pudge and Gillum Insurance. I've helped him. That's Scott Massey and Geiger Brothers Construction. You know, he told me that weight loss competition helped save him through COVID. You know,
well, so I think it probably did.
It probably did. So McAvoy Geiger Brothers Construction, they're into HVAC, structural engineering. Give those guys a call, 740-286-0800. If you need anything figured out, need a building built on your property, anything like that, they can engineer it for you. I mean, they're mainly into the big stuff, but hey, you know, we can't thank those guys enough. Give them a call, 740-286-0800. Massey. Yes. Who else we got?
Well, I mean, now we've relegated him to the last place since
I just ate there. I just ate there.
Yeah, well, I had breakfast sandwich here this morning, which is one of my favorite things to do. Let's give the Munn family, Brad and Sarah Munn, credit for having McDonald's family restaurants in Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, MacArthur. They've been serving our communities for over 40 years, and they give back to our community. Great people. Brad Apple Fritter Munn.
That's an emergency. So Josh Radcliff. Oh, and real quick, give our boy John Daniels a call.
Yeah, hey
look
man,
him up,
Bronx Metalworks.
Bronx Metalworks.
Great work.
And we got some more sponsors coming on here at the next episode. You guys will see those guys. So stay tuned and hit that like and subscribe button before we get started, man. You'll get notifications on all of our new stuff. So Josh Radcliff out of Athens, Ohio, Emerge Realty, and let's see, what's the band's name?
Which one?
The Alice in Chains cover band.
We're the Queens of the Rodeo.
Queens of the Rodeo.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains tribute band.
Yeah, a little bit of kickback to the old school right before they were actually Alice in Chains making some noise back in their origins there. So we thought that would be a clever
I sent you
Clever
guys the videos today.
Yes.
Did you listen to them?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, they're legit.
Yeah,
they're legit.
that was awesome.
That was a fun show, man. But Josh and I, we met probably 4 or 5 years ago. Started working together through a mutual friend of ours. We got to bust his balls a little bit, Mr. Eduardo Hughes.
He needs a little busting every
He
now
does.
and then. Take him down a peg.
Are you suggesting that he's overconfident?
He's like a baby quail. That chest all puffed out all the time. So, but he introduced Josh and I and Josh's wife Sandy. Shout out Sandy.
Yeah.
And so we got to become pretty good friends about 4 or 5 years ago, at least that long ago.
Yeah, I'd say.
And so we've hung out on the side. You know, we went to some bars together. And
Done a
hung
few
out,
things,
Done a few things. Always had fun.
Judged a few shows for you.
Yeah.
and,
Oh yeah.
you
Did
know.
StockRoom
Yeah,
Idol? I forgot all
StockRoom
about
Idol,
that. He
yeah,
was a judge
yeah.
on StockRoom
Yeah,
Idol.
how did you enjoy the experience of being a judge, man?
You know, it was cool. Probably.
Was it kind of hard to give like critical feedback?
No, I kind of put myself in that role of,
guys see
you know, I can be that guy that's
You like to be
not
that
quite Simon, but
You
know,
liked it. You liked it.
A little
I mean,
bit.
I wasn't trying to be mean, but I just somebody had to be real with what was going on, especially the earlier rounds. It's just like, listen, man, you just don't. Just maybe not this time.
Yeah.
you know?
Did you ever say, man, that's dreadful?
No. Like I said, I mean, you got to be a little bit, slick about it and be, you know, careful for the feelings and whatnot. Because I've been there, you know. I mean, everybody's been on that stage at one point or another.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
I mean, it takes some courage to put yourself out there like that. So.
And you don't want, and especially like I know specifically, I picked a round of songs for these kids when they did like the 80s grunge version, and I was like, these are the songs you will be singing, and nobody liked me that day.
Yeah, they hated those songs.
Yeah.
Nobody even knew them.
Yeah, they were like, really? I was like, yes, really.
Yes, really, and they're hard.
But
to
it was a
sing.
great time. That was a good little event out there, and you know that's a non-performing time I'd been up there. I'd been at the bar a few times prior to you know, and you know, to the Jackson area. My drummer's Jackson, born and
Mike
raised
Eubanks.
here. Mike Eubanks here, and
Shout out.
you know, so we spent some time up here and had a good time up there, and you know, we'll see if we get back around the way.
Yeah, that Idol was cool, man. I appreciate everything you did on that one. That was
We were looking forward to it. I know things were in the plan, obviously, last year, and with the live band and whatnot, and things kind of went.
That was tough. There was
As
a lot of
did
moving
all of my
pieces to that.
concerts and everything.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
been
you
a slow year.
been a slow year. You were one of the last shows before COVID that we had.
Yeah,
you were. You played. That was probably your last show. Right?
That was our last show. Yeah, we did. Actually, it's funny because I still have to pay 3 of the guys. I got their money in my house at home right now. That's how little times that I've seen these guys that were an integral part of my life.
Not been doing a lot of practicing.
You know,
So, yeah.
no, yeah, I still owe them money. You know?
How often do you guys when COVID is not here, you know, pre-pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
How often would you guys gig? I mean, were you every weekend?
No, we've never been that group. You know what I mean? Like with the core group of guys that I have right now.
That bothered you?
No, you're good. It's, in one form or another, we played. You know, we were a cover band, straight out party rock, Poison, AC/DC. We did that whole line of things.
What was that band called? I remember
That was 5 Foot Forward.
Yeah.
There's a rumor that it might resurface as a cover band again.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that comes around. But you know, with that lineup, we were probably 10 plus years in that, and then I got tired of playing all the stuff that everybody else wanted to hear. And so it was time for a change. So that, you know, I geared up the Alice in Chains group, and we all agreed that would be a hell of a good time, and we all enjoyed that grunge rock and, you know, heavy guitars and stuff. But, you know, even through all of the thick and thin, you know, there were a couple months where we played maybe 2 shows in a month, but generally, you know, if we played 9-10 shows a year at full force, that was good enough.
You were the headliner basically at that Millstone Bike Night.
We had a great time at the Millstone Bike Night. Yeah.
Did you only play that once?
We played. We closed that show 3 years in a row. We played a show early, and then we did their finale.
Yeah.
So at least 3 years in a row we did that.
I used to play at Saturday Night Spot.
It was a really, really good time. She was a little hesitant about bringing the tribute AIC band in there, unfortunately, so we never got to bring the full force of the Alice in Chains through. But we'll see what the summer brings for us. And, you know, obviously outdoor venues are going to be a little more popular, hopefully, than what our indoor stuff is going to be with the restrictions that we don't know what they're going to be still, because we don't know You know, predictions are predictions. We just don't know where it's going to roll.
But so you guys are prepared. You're hanging on like, hey, if it opens up, we're going to be playing gigs.
Yeah, and that's what's been kind of cool about it is like with the group of guys that we've collected here, myself and my drummer Mike Eubanks, my two guitarists is Ron Forrest and Scott Thompson, and my bass player is Michael Riggins, and they're phenomenal musicians, number one. And what we've realized is that you don't get together to practice. That's not how this works. You practice at home, and we get together to rehearse and fine-tune. So if we practice twice before a show, that's about all we really need to do. So we need to practice on a Thursday, and then the next Thursday, and then we're on stage, right? Just because you have to have that with a life. I mean, I sell real estate, so I'm working all the time. Everybody else has got family commitments. They've got other things to do. You cannot dedicate every Thursday or every Saturday, 2 days a week to practice songs that you can practice at home, right? So practice your shit at home, and we get together and we rehearse for the show. So we run the set, you know what I mean? But we've been really good about that. So
you guys must have a pretty good synergy to be able to do that.
We just been together. I mean, and we've had our grievances, and we've, cussed each other and the whole process. But when it comes down to it, is that like I personally don't feel that there's a better group of people to me to be playing with right now. Like I don't think I'll ever find that, and I've told him that, and we've, split the band up or changed this, and we tried this guy or we tried that guy, when it wasn't working or whatnot, or somebody's just not wanting. We're all in our, me being the youngest of the group, probably at 43. We're not really looking to play a 4-hour show anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're just, and that was our big split. We don't want to travel 4 hours for, $100.
Yeah.
It's not always about the money, but sometimes it is, right? I mean,
Sure.
I like to travel. If we can get out there and play, shit, let's get out there and play, but we're not all on that page all the time. So you just kind of come to that realization that everybody's at a different spot, but learn your shit, let's rock it, and we'll put on the best show that we can.
That's a great, I tell you, I always knew if a band called and they said, hey, we give you 4 hours and we take 4 15-minute breaks, I always knew they were pretty entry level.
Yeah.
Because the longer you're in it, the quicker you get out of that. You can't hold a crowd for 4 hours.
No.
I mean, yeah, you might have a crowd, but you can't, it's just not worth it. You can do that same amount of good in 2 to 3 hours.
Well, you're better at a 2 to 3 hour spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
so what's the sweet spot? 2 hours?
3 probably.
With no breaks, or three with one
top.
break?
You do an hour and a half set, you take 15.
Yeah, I didn't take a break.
I listened to the podcast earlier, you bragging about your 5-hour shows and
Well,
whatnot. But,
I didn't. I mean, I just, it's 3 hours.
and I get that philosophy the whole way across the board for sure, and we tried to gear the Queen stuff a little bit towards being able to play straight, right? So if we had to play 3 hours, we've got enough acoustic material that we could potentially pull people off the stage while the sound was still happening, whether it was just me and a guitarist or, just a instrumental for a little.
It's about the show.
You kind of work that presence a little bit, and unfortunately, with last year falling apart like it did, we didn't really get a chance to test out how the process would work. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. It's if we could do an hour and a half. That is the best music in an hour and a half
that you're going to have.
And if you play any longer than that, then maybe the next half an hour is pretty okay, but the last 45 minutes is probably shit people don't know.
Totally agree.
I mean, they don't know.
Totally agree. Yeah, it's hard to that, and even whenever you see people just rock and having a good time, very seldom does that last. 2 hours.
Yeah, there's usually a gap in the middle when they're really excited about it, and then they're sleepy, and then they're hammered drunk at the end. So generally that last 15 minutes is like, woohoo, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, so like the intermission could be useful. If you're going to play for 3 hours, you take that 15-minute break, and then maybe you're set on the backside.
People will leave.
Oh, during the intermission.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
I mean,
they're looking for an excuse to leave, and whenever you take a break, that's their excuse.
Yeah, unless you're the only show in town, which happens rarely, right? I mean, that there's not either some other bar, some other place to go, something else happening, and
they want to go check
tired.
out. Yeah.
You're not gonna keep them there. I mean, if you think about it, like you go to a concert, and this is the downside of the whole business, is that if you can get 2 to 3 bands in the same place at the same time, you're less lost, except for the change around from band to band. Like that's going to be your downside there. But we don't have that partnership in a lot of our areas. So it's like you just suck it up and you play the extra hour or whatever it might be at that time and make it work.
So is the sweet spot, if I'm hearing this correctly, like an hour and a half?
2 to 3 hours. I recommend don't stop. Now, there's musicians out there that'll, castrate me for saying that, but that's just my thoughts. I think it's 2-3 hours. I mean, shit, you could about do anything for 2 or 3 hours. You don't come off a roof after 45 minutes and take a 15-minute break. Yeah. It's fucking playing music. Yeah. It's like, how hard is it?
I don't remember what we did when we played up there, how long we played, but we did the acoustic show, so it's even less aggressive, I guess, realistically in the process. But I don't remember stopping.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I think we played straight through up there too.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, DJs aren't going to take a break on you, and that's who your competition is. So don't gripe. I mean, it's like you kind of gotta. In my opinion, I don't think a lot of people put, and you guys do. So High does. Steve. They put a lot in their show, and I mean, it shows. I would rather have a really good 2-hour show than I would a slapdick 4-hour show.
Yeah.
It's
not tight.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen if you're listening to those people and you know that they're there for 4 hours? They're going to play 45 minutes, then they're going to give you a reason to get up and leave.
Yeah.
Right.
They're going to take a 15-minute break, and
and we had a pretty decent following when we were 5 foot forward, when we were doing the cover band stuff, and like people knew what we were going to play. Our range was pretty giant. I mean, anything, like I said, from like AC/DC, Poison, we did
Journey,
we did some Journey, we did a little bit of country at the very, very end when we did switch drummers for a brief period of time, and so there was some variety in there, and people kind of knew, hey, we haven't heard that song yet, so maybe that one's coming.
Probably gonna play
like
it.
We did the Darkness, and people really got crazy about that, and like Fat Bottom Girls and some of that stuff that people were just like kind of waiting for it to happen. So we did we kept some of the crowd there.
Everybody
a little
plays
bit.
Hank.
Right. We don't play any Hank.
I know, but everybody else does.
Oh, true.
If you got an 80s rock band, the rest of us is out here rocking country covers.
Right, exactly. So I guess we were realistically in the area, probably one of the only like party rock cover groups that were floating around the area. But
and that bar crowd, that's their shit.
Oh, for sure.
They like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, anything that you can, get her out there on the floor and make her grind real hard too. I mean, it's crazy. The number one grind song for ladies in our ever is Alice in Chains' "Man in the Box." Those girls would come flying to the dance floor to dance to that, and I don't know why.
I wouldn't have thought that off.
It's like the perfect tempo beat or something. I don't know what it is, but it was always funny to us when we played that song how it drew people to the floor. It was crazy. It was crazy, but great times. I mean, we had a real good time with this. So we'll see what happens. We're a little too ambitious right now, maybe, but we're trying our best. Me and my other guitarist, Scott, we're writing with another original group, and we're going to do the group's called American Engine, and we're going to do it's kind of more of a funk soul rock kind of not even soul rock. It's dirty rock, I guess, really. I mean, there's a group out there called Blackberry Smoke.
Oh, yeah.
That's freaking
Charlie Starr, baby.
So good. And in my head, I've been like dying on that band right now. Like I can't not listen to everything that they do. Over the last 3 months, yeah.
Oh shit! I found him.
Yeah.
I was on them probably 6-7 years ago.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they
dude,
so much.
That
music out
Whippoorwill
there.
album was
insane.
Oh man,
insane.
Yeah.
Shaking Hands with the Holy Ghost.
So, I'm going to love you halfway to Sunday.
Yep. Hot tracks. Yeah.
Hot tracks.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean,
that Up in Smoke.
Phenomenal.
If people understood what was going on behind the mics on that thing.
Yep, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody's burning shit up.
Yeah.
The drummer's just on fire.
Lyrically, it's incredible. I mean, they're doing great stuff, and I'm trying to develop that sound a little bit with my guitarist, and we're,
get you an orange amp.
Well, he's got plenty of orange amps. That, and I bet you know what, the Marshall really leads itself pretty solid to some of that sound too.
All those guys are playing Les Pauls and orange amps,
which is great because we've got that all over the place. My my guitarists are phenomenal, but so we're trying to lend ourselves to that way a little bit.
I'd be interested in that if you need a rhythm player.
Yeah, and he's got and
that'd be fun as hell.
Well, Ron, who's usually the lead, actually plays a hell of a steel guitar too. So he's got a slide steel set up, and so we're going to try to mix it up a little bit too.
If he wants to do that, holler at me.
Yeah,
man, I'd love to do that.
Oh man, it's so good.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. So we're gonna start working on that. We got up 4 or 5 songs in the works with the American Engine stuff right now.
You writing them?
We're writing them. Yep. I do the melody and lyrics. Scott's writing the guitar lead right now. They're actually, well, we used to practice in a daycare in Athens because it was a daycare center that we owned that Scott still owns, him and his wife Heather. But there's obviously great big rooms in there, so we'd go set up in Athens and practice. And my guitarist Scott and my hopeful bass player Mike Riggins are there right now. So hopefully
That's the one you had up here?
figuring some shit out. Oh yeah, same guys.
Mike Riggins.
Yeah, jump around crazy. Yeah.
Dude's
Phenomenal
legit.
bass player.
Dude's legit.
That's what I said. I can't
can't find
match
better
up with
ones,
better
huh?
people than I have right now, and I'm like, please play with me.
Yeah.
Please don't stop. So
Yeah,
we'll,
all those guys. The guy that was on your left side of the stage last time, Scott was the other one.
Scott was here with the bass, and then Ron is my lead / steel. Yeah, that's the guy.
Man, he's tough.
He
hit those things perfect.
Ron's got a pretty good setup in Logan right now. Not to advertise all the shit that he's got in his garage, but he's axe heavy for sure. He's got a full Pro Tools studio up there, sound room. I mean, he's got some shit going on up there for sure. And we recorded an album with 5 Foot Forward. Blackout was the album. It's like it's not really an album. It's like 6 songs or whatever, but something for us to have, right?
Yeah.
Put it out on Spotify, and we got discs and we got shit, or whatever. And it's the craziest shit about that. When you put it out there into the world, you don't really know what's going to happen to it after the fact. We're literally getting royalties on that album for something from CD Baby right now. We make $200 every quarter.
Really?
For something. Like literally.
And you really don't know what it is.
No idea. We've been trying to find out where our money is coming from, but it's not Spotify. It's not plays or downloads. It's somebody had to have purchased the rights to something that we're getting paid on off that album. We have no idea what it is. It could be a tampon commercial. For
Yeah,
all
it could
we
be
know.
a jingle in it. Yeah.
Yeah. No idea.
Did you run that through? Who did you run? Did you have a publisher?
We sent it all out to have it mastered and put on disc and all that stuff, and the digital everything done through one company, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was.
So did they own the rights to it?
No, we kept all the rights that I'm aware of, and CD Baby had the publishing and had that part of it. But even if somebody is paying us something, like even if they have the rights to spit it out there, I mean, we'll take our $200 a quarter.
Yeah,
I mean,
why not, man?
I just would really like
They
to
got
know
it on hold.
what's happening.
Yeah, well, you're definitely a professional musician.
We're
if that's the case.
huge in Switzerland.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that right now. Like
We're Yugoslavia.
Well, the Ukraine.
Ukraine,
Yeah, we're killing the Ukraine.
and it was a little heavier, so I mean, I could see it being a little bigger. Over some of that stuff was pretty heavy, and but it was fun. But we're gonna try
awesome.
something a little bit different this time and see if we can do something else. I guess. So.
Well, you made the comment. You're the youngest guy in the band.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
Okay.
Eubanks, the drummer, and I are about the same age.
Okay,
But yeah,
so like, are you
he
guys?
might have me by 6 months. I might be a liar, but either way, we're right there.
So are you guys? I mean, is that like you don't see an end in sight, right? Like you're like, hey, let's go.
No, and that's kind of what it was. And this is, I'll put the weight on my shoulders for the most part, because the first time that we sat down was, I was burnt. I was just burnt out on it, and I was ready to just take a break and just take a step back. And we did, and my drummer was like, I don't want to do these long shows anymore. So he stepped away, and we put somebody else in his place. And it comes to the point now that the grind of being a part-time player is exhausting sometimes. Like trying to find, especially in Southeast Ohio, there's very few venues. I mean, it's very slim.
For a band especially.
And in Athens, it's even harder because a lot of like right now, like the Union isn't even open, so you can't play at that bar. The Casa isn't doing live music, so you can't play. So there's only two bars in Athens right now that play live music are closed. The Adelphi and Marietta is probably the next one, or close-wise, and then that's an hour. Or here to StockRoom, that's our other two. So, I mean, literally within an hour, we have 2 bars in Athens, one on each end. I think Ugly Mug in Canal, is
That's
about an
great
hour,
growth.
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's
His
those
wife's from
guys,
here.
or you drive an hour and a half to Huntington or Columbus. I mean, but getting people to agree to, A1, pay you, which we're old dudes, and we'd prefer to have a couple bucks, at least for gas or for it. And it was harder in the beginning because we really thought we could make money at it, and that's really never what it was.
Right.
And if you come to the point like we did now, it's like let's just get a house up there for the weekend and get super shitty drunk and
Have a good time.
have a great time playing music. And if you can come to that conclusion, I think we could play a lot more. But a couple of the new bars in Columbus, they're like, I talked to one yesterday, brand new bar. It's opening.
Not going to do live music.
No, they're doing live music. They're a big ass music venue, but it's $800 to rent the venue. Period.
For you.
For the band.
For the band.
For the band.
Oh, they're going to charge you now.
I did that. I did that one time. No, I paid.
Yeah.
I paid down at Wheelersburg. They had that whatever theater down there, and you rented the theater, and then you had to sell your own tickets.
Yep.
And I would have loved to have done that here because, you know, I'll say this, I guess, since I'm getting out of the business, you know, I just thought that, I mean, the bands are griping because they're not getting paid enough. Okay, I get it, man.
Sure.
I did it. Okay. But where did they think that money was going to come from?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to charge a cover. Nobody wanted to get on board with that.
I don't have a fucking. Am I allowed to say
Yeah,
that?
you're like, yeah.
absolutely
Okay.
do. Yeah.
My bad. I also have a mouth like a sailor. I've been kind of holding it back
No,
a little
you're
bit.
fine.
Hey,
Okay.
bring it. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get, and we've talked about this pretty consistently.
If you're not willing to charge a cover, then don't bitch what you're getting.
100%, yeah.
Because I watched Abley and those guys. I mean, he put his money where his mouth was. You
Sure.
know, and I mean, he said, "No, we don't need your money. We'll make our own." And I was like, "God bless you."
So he actually preferred
Hell
to
yeah.
rent the venue.
And if it would have just been him, they would have doubled what I could have paid him.
Yeah, but then they paid out for an opening group
Yeah,
and sound and
but
lights and the whole
first show,
process. Yeah.
first show, you know, I mean, and it was like, well, I mean, I don't, you know, but hey, you know, I'm getting out of that world, but I'm not saying I won't still put on shows of some sort, but you know, I got to find a sweet spot to do it. You know, I mean, as far as like you really got to be something special. Like that's what was cool. You have to have a niche. Like I said, everybody's playing these certain songs.
Sure.
But like Allison Chain's tribute band, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, like
well, there's definitely a defined crowd.
Sure.
That's going to come and watch that.
Especially when you get an area that doesn't have a lot of music overload anyway.
Yeah,
And we've made great connections. And, you know, I've got a Godsmack tribute band in Columbus, and I've got a Foo Fighters in Canton, and I've got, you know, numerous bands that are out there all around Ohio that if you can get close enough to them, you could, like we got invited to go play a show at the Outpost in Kent. Right. And, you know, they got 500 capacity in there. So even if it's half full with COVID or whatever, you know, 250 people, like, but it's a 3-hour drive for us to get there, man. Like,
Right. You're staying up there.
That's a lot.
I mean,
yeah. We would stay up there, except for, you know, unfortunately that my drummer, he does not want to do that kind of travel. And that's, I'm not begrudging him of his choice or whatnot. It limits what we can do a little bit too. Right. So we got to kind of pick and choose a little bit about what we're doing if we want to keep the current lineup that we have in the process, which I would prefer 100% because I know what these guys are capable of. You know, I mean, it's the relationship.
Well,
we
like
have.
the place in Columbus. Let's get back to that.
Sure.
So is this kind of the new model?
No,
it's been around forever.
Yeah,
Nobody can pull it off.
There's a couple bars in Columbus, like Scully's, which is a dive that's always been there on Short North, right? In the Short North, Scully's
on
bar,
High
right?
Street, yeah.
So I'm 90% sure that they're a pay-to-get-in bar. So you want to play there, you pay, and then they provide you X, right? So this bar up in the high end of Columbus there, and I'd have to get my phone. I'll tell you what they were. It's not relevant what their name is, but you know they want $800. You get full sound, which
how big
I don't
is
know
their
what
venue?
it is, and that was the question I asked him because I don't know yet. But I mean, it looks great. I mean, it's you know you look
Full
at it on the
sound.
pictures, you get
If
full
they
sound.
can make you sound good.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's a $500 bill
Yeah.
right there. Period.
Right there.
So really, okay. So now we're renting the venue for $300. So really, you're paying for 2 bouncers at $150 a pop to make sure
take
people
tickets.
don't kill each other, right?
Sure.
And somebody to pay and somebody to take tickets.
Potentially, that was my other question. Is okay. So at $800, you give me this and you give me this. So here's my 3 questions. What time do I get in, and how long do I have the venue for? Like, can we get in at 2:00 and set up and sound check? And like, what does that actually give me? If we're selling tickets, do we have a door person who has to like manage or take tickets or sell tickets at the door? Do we have to provide that? And then the third question, I can't remember what it is, but those were my 2 main questions. Is like,
So-
it was the capacity.
Yeah,
At
yeah, how big
COVID
is
right
it?
now,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
many people can you actually put in there so we know what to charge for ticket prices if we
Sure.
do this, right?
Yeah.
Because if we sell $10 tickets and they can get 150 people in there, then every band still makes $150, $200. I would consider doing that with a three band split, right?
Well, and would the $800 stand even if you brought 3 bands? Like if say
it's the venue.
You
it
grouped
doesn't
up.
even matter.
It's probably by the time.
Yeah.
So you group up with like the Godsmack
Because they got to pay a sound guy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You pay $800 to rent that venue for the night and do whatever the hell you want with it at that point.
Okay.
I mean, we could put 20 bands in there if you could get them in and out, right?
That's a money making proposition if you believe in yourself and your sound.
Right.
Man.
If you can get 300-400 people in
I
there,
always believed in it, but everybody
that's like
backed me on it.
$4,000. You know what I mean? Like you could make some decent money.
It would actually
up
probably
there.
be better for the band.
That's what I
You're
said.
going to pay for the sound anyway.
You should.
Yeah.
If you're big enough, you should.
100%. And that's, we ran our own sound forever, man. Like it was, I hated it.
Biggest waste of time you can do.
I mean, we did okay with it because we were, between, Ron and Scott, my guitarist, they were technology savvy, and we're all broadcasting media guys,
So you
right?
guys
so we've
can-
done this,
you know
right?
what you're
Like we
doing.
graduated with degrees, and we know what we know what the fuck to do, right? So so we all had the app on our phone. We had the the X32
The
over
X30
here that you could plug into, and we could just run off and we could control our own monitor mix.
That's
I mean,
the
so
shit. That BX32 is the shit, isn't it?
yeah, so
Yeah,
we
that's what I
were
told you.
pretty savvy with it, but
Yeah.
even then, it was still show up to fucking unload and set up, stay
Run
late
the
to tear
cords.
shit down. Like
Yeah.
it was
It
terrible.
sucks.
I burnt out on that shit, and that was also one of the other reasons why I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like don't want to. Let me change that. I don't want to do this anymore because if we don't spend the $300 or $400 or whatever it is on sound, we got to the point that with Ron, he's got so much PA equipment between his his Soundcraft powered shit and his EVs and blah blah blah.
What's his
and
last name?
all Forrest is his last name. From all the shit that he had, we could pay him, and if he wanted to bring somebody and he wanted to hurt his back, then we were just paying him an extra $200 and being like, I'm like, I love you, but I'm not going to help you do this. Like, I'm paying you for your sound equipment now, and I don't care how you get it done, but it's not going to be on my back.
So
Sorry.
you just want to show up, plug in, and play.
Yes, and I don't even plug in because I'm the singer, so I literally just fucking show up and do my job. Like that's, but yeah, I mean that's the long and the short of it.
It sucks.
The sound is always going to be the killer, and that's why they're like, hey, let's do the 5 foot forward and do the cover stuff. I'm like, sweet, let's do it. Still not going to do the PA. Like that's not going to be me. So if you're all in it to make no money because we want to go out and play at these bars, ready go. But I'm not lugging PA anymore. Yeah. No.
So for you, there's absolutely no burn in paying a sound guy, or if that's included in that $800 fee, you're like, well, heck, that's a great deal.
And honestly, like for me, and this is where we've never been able to get because I was the only one doing the booking, so it was really like on my shoulders to figure out where we were going to go. If we had a dedicated sound guy, this is our dude, and this is what we knew he had, and he got familiar with us, our show would be tenfold better.
Way better.
Every time because he knows how we sound. He knows where the reverb should be. He gets adjusted to the sound. He knows where the solos are for the lead guitars on this side this time. I mean, you gotta be better to be better. I mean, that's the long and the short of it. Like you can't. I don't know how else to say that. I mean, I think Steve gets it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he gets
Steve's going to bring in his own lights and his own sound every time.
Every time.
Does he have the same guy doing his sound all the time? No.
But he knows what he wants, and he'll call until he gets it.
Yeah, and I mean he knows, and running sound for if you're doing it is not difficult. We've had some bad sound. Trust me, like I get it.
I've had a bunch of bad sound guys in at the bar.
But yeah, I mean you're gonna get that reputation, and I always wanted to put on a show. Like that was I always had it in my head. Like we bought lights. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, we had lights for a long time, and that was my job as the singer because I didn't have any other shit. Was to set up all the
lights.
truss and the lights and the this and the that and the whatever and But then again, I mean, now what do you do? Who's controlling it? Nobody, right? So we've just got it like running randomly over here, and it doesn't really do any. I mean, then it's just pointless,
Right.
So I don't know, but it's
they got to come in on beat. That you need some
which you can do.
You can do from a stage.
Yeah, I mean, I got a stomp pedal if I wanted it. I can make that work. Or
but now you're thinking an awful lot.
Or you get even further than that, and you put it on the drummer's shoulders, and you get a click track back here with a trigger that triggers the lights on because you can get the lighting programs that run off of the click. So you program the click in.
Yeah.
You get the lights set up to where the cues are, and you hit start, and it goes click, 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 and all you motherfuckers better start
because
because
the
the
lights
lights
is
are
coming
going.
on.
You know what I mean? And then they go like the chorus change, the trigger hits, the chorus lights change. I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty intense.
It's pretty cool, but it's so labor intensive at the beginning. Once you get it set up,
you're good.
as long as you can stay on click and you got a drummer that can follow the click and your guitarist doesn't forget where the cue is to go and he skips a chorus, you know, it's
But like you mess up once and
you're off. There's no fixing it.
Yeah,
There's no fixing it.
Yeah.
You've got a kill switch. You get to the end of the song and hopefully the crowd doesn't really realize because your lights aren't on cue where they're supposed to be and the guy goes,
They won't.
boop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, they don't.
They don't.
No, but I do. And then I look at the drummer and I go, mother.
yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I've been getting the bug again. Me and Dad was talking about it the other night, and I said, he asked me, he said, now that you got all this time on your hands, you gonna play some music? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm gonna go back to playing some.
You just did all cover stuff though. Did you write?
Then I'm gonna do it. I've wrote some
Did you?
things. Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, I'm going to go at it different this time. I'm not going to go at it on, let's see if I can play 100 shows a year.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to go at it as, hey, I'm going to put together a show, and I'm going to write some stuff. You know, I'm probably going to write 10, 12 songs of my own. You know, I'll get on Spotify. You know, I'll have a thing on that, and I'm going to just go. And it might take me 10 years, but I'm going to.
It took us 4 years to write our first song, our first album. I mean, it
Yeah.
took us forever.
So now are you thinking though that you might just go out there and play once a month?
I'll play whenever I want to go play,
Just whenever you get the bug, you'll
and it may
book a
be for
show?
free. You know, like I'm not going to
You're
go
not
out.
doing it to make money anyway.
You're not.
Well, yeah, you kind of
We're too old for that bullshit.
Josh, you kind of
Yeah.
referred to that earlier.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like,
not gonna make any
Hey, look,
money.
man, I'm not even going in here to make money. I'm
No.
going out there to have fun.
You know,
put
when
on a
I was,
show.
If I could find
43, when I was in my 20s, and we thought that we could make a couple bucks on
Sure.
it. Sure, dude. Like that was pretty cool. But now it's like, my ideals have changed a little bit here, and it's like, okay, so if I have a weekend off and I'm giving up my time of either because I had to switch weekends and my kids are now with my ex, or I'm giving up a weekend to play on stage and now my wife has to sit in the crowd while I'm on stage for 5 hours or whatever it is. I want to enjoy myself and I'm gonna stay. Like we're gonna enjoy the city. We're gonna wherever we're at. We're gonna have a good time with it, and that's what it is now. It's like experience.
Yeah,
more
you're
than
not
anything.
looking to run on a
I
shoestring
want
budget so
I
you
wanna
can put $100 in
play
your pocket.
some shows, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I want it to be as easy for and I may charge, but it'll be to bring a sound man.
yeah.
And I'm just going to walk in and grab my guitar and I'm going to play and sing. I'm not going to do anything other than that, and that will keep it fun for me, dude. I'd come home. I know you did because you was in that rock and roll band. You'll come home and it's like playing a football game.
Oh, I would
Exhausted,
imagine.
Sore, tired.
Sore, beat up.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would
Can't
imagine.
talk the next day some days, and
Yeah.
it'll still be like that just because of what I sing and what I do to myself. But like that's I need a day, to just put myself back together. Let alone the guys in the band. I mean, you've seen my bassist. I mean,
he's
that guy
intense.
can't keep his feet on the ground when he plays, and we've had people come up and accuse him of not actually playing the bass because of how active he is. There's no way you're playing that. It's gotta be a track. And we're like, y'all need to just walk away from the stage right now. Like, but he's told, that's why he won't do the cover band, like the full on party rock stuff, because that length of performance time for him is just
brutal.
Two
kills
girls.
him.
Yeah.
Just kills him. Yeah.
I'd like to come up with. I'd like to write some more, and I'd like to get with somebody and write together. And I'm going at it. If I do it again this time, I'm going at it totally different. I'm going at it from a fun aspect. Now I'm not
Much more leisurely approach.
much more. Yeah, and I mean, hell, I'll put money in my show. I mean, as far as that goes, I don't care to do that, but. I don't want it to, like you said. I mean, I gotta really weigh out if it's worth. Okay, if so and so calls me in Columbus, and I got to go 2 hours up there and play for 3 or play for 2 and then come home. I mean, so maybe not.
But if you go up there and spend the night and hang out, and make a weekend
Yeah.
out, and take your wife
I
and
wanna
your
get
son,
back-
or,
I'd love
We'll
to
take
get
a
back
weekend
to
of it. We do a lot of Airbnb stuff, man.
I
Me
play
and
that
the wife.
Quarter Horse Congress and the big horse show up there.
Yep.
I play that every year,
Yeah.
and definitely want to keep that. That's the largest horse show in the
Sure.
world. I want to continue to play the Apple Festival.
Okay.
That's usually opening for somebody big. I like that. But
Yeah.
if I could do those 2 things a year, I'd be.
Now, when
Yeah.
you go up to the Quarter Horse, do you guys spend the night up there?
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And we
I've
haven't
also
for the last
I
2
played
years.
up there 5 times in a week here about 2 or 3 years ago. So I was driving to Columbus 5 nights that week.
And that's brutal.
That's brutal.
Because I know when you're doing shows like that, I mean, you're not done till midnight,
Yeah,
probably
I was
1
usually- I was
o'clock. By the time you tear down,
I was getting home about 3:30.
Yeah, we were rolling in 3 and 4 o'clock on average when we were at our
Oh man,
hot
that,
prime
and that
playing around.
kills you, man.
It's no good.
And then you
It's
just
no
don't
good.
go in there and go to bed.
No.
You
Well,
got
no, you're kind of
You
wound
kind of
up.
slide
I mean,
in
yeah.
sideways real low and hope that you can fall asleep. But yeah.
We got Jeremy Rupert coming up on the show here in a couple weeks, or Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, Sunday.
He says he's bringing some hot wings and different sauces for us to taste. He
Is
wants
he?
us to weigh in on some stuff.
Oh my!
I
I,
said-
didn't
I
realize
said-
I was supposed to bring show and tell to this
Well,
show.
I didn't
we,
either.
we,
I'd
we
have
generally
brought
don't
my
answer.
like custom whiskey or something. You know,
Yeah,
I
you're
just
fine.
don't like to kill creativity. I mean, he sent me a message. He's like, "Would you guys be opposed if I brought some wings and some various sauces?"
would you guys like to eat some food? Is that what he really asked you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean-
yeah. I mean, it's like, is that? I mean, really, dude? Yeah, bring it on, man. We'll eat a wing. We're not afraid of it.
He knows that. Rupe.
Well, I think he did. I think he was just kind of like, "Hey, man, I'm not trying to pirate the show, but you think we could do some wing tasting?"
That'd be
I'm
good.
like, yeah, man, that'd be hey, fire
So-
it up.
Yes, no flappers, please. Thank
Yeah,
you.
So Josh and I work a lot together.
Uh-huh.
In our businesses, he refers me business a lot of times, and
We always give you the hard stuff, the stuff that we're like, Jason can get this
yeah,
done.
he gives me the hard
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's a good compliment.
yeah, and we've so we've talked about a little bit, the him being a realtor over in Athens, and I think one thing, I mean, everybody obviously, where can they find you?
Oh, wow. So, we recently switched organizations, but it's super easy to. We've got a Facebook page, of course.
What is it?
Radcliff Sales Team. That's us. But Radcliff is the last name. We also own, and I will pat myself a little bit on the back, and I grabbed a couple websites before they were sold out. And so I've got AthensOhioProperties.com is me. Athens City Properties, Meigs County Properties, Hocking County Properties, Vinton County Properties, I think is mine too. So those all funnel to my webpage, so you can
nice.
find properties around the state.
Genius.
So
Yeah.
now, do you sell like Hocking Hills properties? Like,
Yeah, I mean legally speaking,
but that's not really your focus,
right? I mean, I can sell anything in Ohio because that's where my
Sure,
license is.
sure.
I like Hocking Hills properties. They're really nice. Very few times does a cabin actually come up for sale. I mean,
Right.
it's very few and far between. Burr Oak, I've sold a couple properties over there on the state park over there this year, which is really nice. And that's about, I mean, realistically, probably the extent of my circle. I like to kind of stay south of Logan if I can. 30 minutes from Athens is
Okay.
probably about my stretch.
Right, so-
Coolville to.
So I got to hit you with it, man. I mean, you're Athens Realty,
Sure.
right? You're in there, so obviously
He's at Emerge Realty
emerge.
But I'm selling Athens real estate. That's the trick, right? Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes,
because
yes.
there is an Athens Realty.
There is true.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, not trying to plug another.
How about
no,
old
no.
Ginger here? Kids
Yeah,
catching
look at
that?
him.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
I'm talking about real estate in Athens.
Sure, yes,
My mind goes to as the untrained eye. Man, it seems like it would be a great gig to have a property uptown or close to the university and rent to students. Now, I'm sure it comes with a lot of challenges as well. They're not exactly taking care of the property, but I guess debunk that myth that that's a great idea, or tell me what's involved with that. I mean, is that an expensive grab first and foremost?
Well, I mean, the trick of any real estate in general is that you trust the pro. You know what I mean? Number one, which
Sure.
obviously here we are. So asking the questions of the right people is always going to be the right way to start the process. But the whole idea of owning student rentals is very appealing in the fact that you think that there's a guaranteed income there, number one, because there's a college on campus,
Sure.
which has had its rocky life over the last couple of years for sure. COVID has not been friendly to Athens in general, let alone the university.
Yes.
It's not like we're Ohio State, not to talk down against my alma mater by any means, because I graduated there, but you got 60,000 students at Ohio State, plus the number one real estate market in the nation, probably for the last
Hottest
5
growing.
years.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Athens is definitely a little bit more unique in that process, where we have a handful of 5 or 6 pretty substantially sized not real estate companies, I guess I would say landlords that own a pretty good share of the market, right?
Same way here.
So when they actually release one of the properties to sell, let's just assume that it's probably a piece of shit, number one.
Yeah,
because
they're tired of it. They want to get rid of it.
there's enough money that needs to go back into it that they're not going to see their return anymore. So you got a little bit of a pitfall there in the process that you're going to have to put a bunch of money probably into it before you can recoup what you're paying for it. Cost-wise, it's really not terrible. I mean, to be blunt about that is that, you know, a single-family residence, let's say you wanted to go buy a new house for your family in the Athens area, obviously there's, you know, a split down the middle of better houses here. It's closer to Walmart. It's closer to this side of town is a little bit more expensive. You know, it's closer to the school, you know, things like that. Or, you know, this side of town might be a little bit less. So depending on where you fall in that process, might drop your prices. But you're going to be able to afford a nice rental. You know, a couple $100,000 probably get you a nice duplex or something like that too when they come available, which is few and far between. And when they do, like I said, you've got a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot of work, but
so this
is
a long play
for sure. I mean, you're not. What we look at is what we call, you know, return of investment in theory. Here is that, you know, somebody wants to see, you know, if you put, you know, X dollars in it, you want to see your return in as short as possible, right?
Sure.
So on average, you know, we try to shoot for like 7 years is a really good time frame, because in that next 3. It's all cash in your pocket, right? So you got a 10 or 15-year mortgage on that property probably, so you're making real money after your 7th year in theory. Right. Anything more than 7 is probably either maybe you're lucky and the property's really nice, or you're overpaying for it is usually what happens, because the landlord thinks that the owner thinks that they have a better property than what they probably do. You know, what we're seeing now is the sad part is that 4 to 5 bedroom houses, these bigger houses, are considerably harder to rent right now. And I think a lot of that is because of the student population is either more segregated because of being separated from their friends, because of separated from people because of COVID, you know, whatever it might be. You get a 2 to 3 bedroom or a 1, 2 or 3 bedroom place, and that's the spot, man. You can rent a 1 or 2 bedroom to a grad student.
Daddy will pay that. He'll pay for so-and-so to be by themselves.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, and that was where I was leading with my next question is, you know, the pandemic impact on that particular market. But given that's temporary, would this perhaps be a good time to buy one of those? Are you seeing more inventory come on the market due to perhaps some bleeding due to it sitting empty?
You know, I sat down to lunch with one of my friends who's a pretty substantial landlord in Athens, and he's got a couple things that are going to come on the market, you know, in the next couple of weeks, next month probably. But he said that he hasn't really had a hard time renting a lot of his properties except for those bigger ones, right? I don't know that he's liquidating or selling off because of COVID necessarily, other than he needs the cash flow now because he's moving to Columbus, his rental market. Okay. He's buying those properties on, you know, a couple blocks off of campus right now that, you know, might cost him a couple million, but he has them rented for the next 3 years. You know what I mean? Like it's less work for him in the process. Sure. But as far as inventory goes, there is not any right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, that's what's bad for the market in general. And it's the time of the year. It's not even really COVID at this point. I'll be honest. Like I think I had my best year in real estate last year. And it's been 8 years. I've been doing it for 8 years. And I sold more properties last year than I did. I sold 40 properties 2 years ago. My wife and I sold 55, but we represented 60 total. So we had 60 buyer seller combos, whatever it might be. But as far as financially, it was my best year last year. And that was through all of this craziness. I mean, obviously we had a very big dip, you know, when everybody was like, and locked up, and like we were walking the streets to get exercise and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, but once everything kind of, everybody figured out what they needed to do, it was definitely better for everybody at the end. Yeah. And the numbers kind of came back. We just got to have inventory at this point, and that's just weather related, man. Yeah. And that's all it is. You know, spring is always a real estate driven time frame for properties that come on the market. And And with and this was an excessive amount of snow this year. I mean, realistic in a time
Realistic.
frame.
For
in
what
a
we're
time
seeing,
frame,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I mean, last year I know for sure we got one weekend of big ass snow, and that was it. Right, everything else was kind of like a little dusting here and there, whatever. But this was the big one this year for us for the last. I mean, I bet 5+ years.
We had snow on the ground for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Snow,
crazy.
ice, I mean,
And
storms.
There's 2 inches of ice where the shade is right now, right?
Sure.
Because it's just not getting the sun, even though it's still a little bit warmer, you know. But I think
I still got ice.
what's going to happen is that once we get through. I mean, and generally we say middle of March, right? So we're going to kill February right now. The snow's gone. People are going to get less cautious, and then the inventory will come out. So
Man, buying's hot right now.
buyers are.
This is the time to buy.
That's
I refinanced my house yesterday.
I mean, the rates is why it's time to buy, but we got to have something to sell them. I mean, that's the tricky part about it right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it comes around. I think it'll be 2 more weeks before we see real inventory start to hit the market for
I
sure.
think Eddie got me at 2. I think it was either 279, something like that.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
We refinanced with him too, and this was in. It would have had to been in fall, maybe November.
Yeah, that's whenever you moved it over to me.
Yeah,
Moved your
yeah.
insurance over to me.
Yep. So sometime in the fall, and we settled in at 3. I think is where we ended up, which was still
Now
like
they went up again.
2.5 lower than where I was.
That was
so.
yesterday. They went up today, and so like what they're saying is it's because of the where the economy's coming back. They're going to start charging more money on it. So like yesterday it was so I got 279, and it might have been 2.9, and today it jumped up to 3.8.
Yeah. It'll settle out again. I mean, I don't think it's going to get out of hand by any means, you know, where it has been in the past.
That's
for
still
sure.
cheap as hell compared to where you were.
Yeah, 100%.
Not where I mean, you know, I'd been in my mortgage for 7 years, and I was at 3.9. And that was, you know, back then you heard
Then that was great.
Back then that was great, and I wasn't unhappy with that rate. But it was like, my God, I can do this and save.
We were talking to my wife Sandy. She's a real estate agent too. She's on our team, you know, the Radcliff sales team, and she's been selling for 5 years or so, real estate. Prior to that, she did some property management. Prior to that, she actually worked in double wide sales for Clayton Homes, I think, and she remembers like selling double wides at like 18 and 20% interest rates, right? Because that's what they could afford and were willing to sign for, you know.
So
and
if
she
that
was
would
like,
happen-
I hated it. It made me feel so bad every day.
If that was to happen again, like at the housing market, I'm sure housing prices would drop.
I don't know. And this is the thing. Like,
Who's going to get your money, the realtor or the government?
Right. The problem is that I'm good at what I do because I stay in my lane, right?
Right.
So, like, I tend to not follow what people think it's going to be other than I tell you what it is right now, and this is all you can do is buy right now and not think about what it's going to be over here.
Yeah, no crystal ball.
Right. I can't tell you what it's going to be, but I would think that if the rates got out of control,
I'm talking.
then everybody would just sit on their thumbs.
Okay, so, I mean, do you think that appraisal values would go down or market values would go down? They would have to.
You would think they would have to, and that's the trick about appraisals, man. And
$250,000 at 18% versus $250,000 at 2.9 is a big difference.
But it's not money. But it's not money in the appraiser or the realtor's pocket. It's all on the lending side, right? So is the value of the house any different? And that's the tricky part.
But if it's market driven,
get it.
your market can't justify paying that. So boom, it goes. You know, so.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and the appraisals, aren't they primarily driven by the comparative sales?
That's what they're okay, so here's the other problem. So yes, if you're buying a house, that appraisal is comparative in the market. So your 4-bedroom, 2-bath house should be the same value with square footage, garage, has a basement, what acreage it's got, blah blah blah, compared to the exact same house sitting over to here, right? But now if you go to refinance your house, not the same.
No.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. Like, I don't understand. Like, how can you tell me that my house isn't worth the same thing right now because I want to get money back out of it as it would be if I was trying to sell it over here to tomorrow? It just
Somebody's got their thumb on the scale.
it does not make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I love the appraisers in my market, like at least a handful of them that I get along with 100%. And when they explain it to me and when they talk to me about it, I'm just like, you're fucking nuts, dude. Like, don't tell me that my house is worth this when I know it's worth this, because I'm looking at the same things you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like this, I know what you're looking at. I see the comps.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me how there can be a different value for different reasons.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And that's obviously with the whole, crash of 2008 was prior to any, I had bought my house when things were going down. So luckily, I'm appreciative of the problem, unfortunately, but that was the problem. It was over appraising value of homes plus over lending and the whole everything combined together to make that big train wreck go. And it can't get any better if you don't put the contract in the hands of the appraiser. They shouldn't know what the contract is for.
Yeah.
Just let them make the value.
Let
And if it
them make
doesn't
the
make
value.
it doesn't fucking make it. Sorry, you oversold your house.
Right.
Go down the street and buy the next one. That's the way it should be. Am I happy when it appraises?
Sure.
Hell yeah. Because I
Yeah.
get a paycheck.
Yeah.
The appraisal is the last part. When it's over, I get paid.
That's the deep breath.
It's crazy.
You-
It's
you-
Yeah.
I was really
appraised.
worried that it wasn't going to make it, but it made it. One
Yeah.
of those kind. And I try to be real with my clients and just like, listen, hey, I feel like we can push it a little bit, but if we
Yeah.
get much more than this, it's not going to make it. And I lose listings because of it. I'm not going to lie about it because I'm still not going to take your listing. If I think you're going to oversell it at $50,000, I don't want it on my pocket. Because when it doesn't appraise, then you're mad at me.
Right.
Take it to the guy down the street and let him try it. I'll see you when it doesn't sell. Come back.
Right.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. When you realize it's worth $50,000.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's exactly the way it goes. And it's an ongoing argument and discussion with anybody who wants to. And right now in Columbus, back to Columbus, and I just got since I switched companies to eMerge Real Estate, I have the ability to market in Columbus. I joined their MLS, right? So I can see the properties that are for sale up there now in their market. Obviously, the big Zillow there that nobody wants to talk about in the real estate world, and Realtor.com and those guys. Well, Realtor.com is the lesser of the two evils. That's neither here nor there. But, I could always see the properties. But now that I'm a member, I can see what's under contract. I can see the pricing, I can see all of that. And the chat groups that I'm in with this company, what's happening in the Columbus market right now is out of control. They're getting offers, multiple offers on homes. They have been on the market for one day, like $20,000 over asking price, with all of these extra concessions, like saying, "Hey, we're going to give you this much more money and this much more money." It's just a mess up there. And talk about appraisal values getting out of hand. That's where
Columbus
it's at.
is out of hand.
Out of hand. Yeah.
Really?
I don't understand how you can do it. I don't understand how they can do it.
Is it a supply and demand?
100%.
Yeah.
The buyers, you're getting like 5 and 6 and 10 offers on one house because people just cannot buy a house up there because there's not enough inventory. And of course that makes the sellers push their prices way up. So the appraisal's got to go way up because of the demand. And not only is appraisal going up, but they're say your house is $300,000 and I come in and I offer you $350 and it appraises at $370. My contract also says I'm going to give you an appraisal gap payment, so I'm going to pay you another $20,000 to make it up to the appraisal value.
How are they justifying the?
It's crazy.
How are they justifying the? These are people with just expendable amounts of money?
I wish I had an idea, and I wish there were more of them down here.
Exactly. How do you justify $20,000 on my debt to income ratio in this payment? Because
no idea.
Like every time I ever went to look for a house, I guess I kind of saw like, okay, what's my housing ratio going to be? What's the max I can buy?
It's like knowing you can afford a $400,000 house, and shopping in the 300 line because you know that it's going to be over that price.
That's what they're doing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, and they've got their income ratios are different.
They're making more money than we are.
Yeah, they are
for sure up there.
Yeah.
They're making more money.
Yeah.
100%. Yep, that is a true story. So it's cool, but back to when stuff comes up, if you want to buy a rental property in Athens, I would not discourage you from it. Definitely get your hands on somebody who knows how to walk through the property with you the first time. Do your inspections. Always do your inspections on it to make sure that there's no structural issues, that there's no leaks and gas, there's no termite. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can do right now. Radon is real big in Columbus for doing radon inspections. We don't see it a lot down here. Not to say there's not radon, but I'm not growing another arm, so I'm not really trying to tell people they need to do it. Right. So, I mean, you want to spend that extra $300, I'll set it up for you.
So as far as if you do get a lasso around one of those properties, is that a tough road for landlords?
No, I mean, to be a landlord in Athens is not a tricky process. I mean, realistically, there's a lot of more than anything else. To be a landlord is following fair housing guidelines. Period. Don't get sued. That is the number one rule in real estate, and also as being a landlord, I would say don't get sued. Obviously you've got a nice contract drawn up for your tenants that says exactly what's going to happen if you don't pay, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, when things are due. Pretty airtight. You didn't do it, get the hell out, right? And even then, you're still going to have to maybe evict and that whole process. I mean, that's another animal. But realistically, it's a matter of do what's right, and when people start applying for you, you can't discriminate against about who you're going to put in there. I mean, that's the tricky part, because right now I have one rental. I've got a little 1-bedroom place. That's more than enough for us right now. We're getting ready to re-interview tenants to come through, because our current tenant's she's gonna leave. She needs a little more space, so we're gonna have to find somebody else. And I let Sandy handle it all.
Okay.
Because she's got some experience in property management, and honestly, she's probably a little bit more PC about the whole process than I would be. I'd be like, yeah, you're not living in my place. Yeah. And then we would be sued, right?
Well, yeah. Are you guys now? Are you guys trying to capture the student market?
Not even. No,
okay.
we're just on the outskirts, right? So like if the center of Athens is here, like we're 4 minutes off campus, right?
Okay.
Like walking is going to take you 15, 20 minutes to get there. No student is really good. We're on the bus route, whatever.
Yeah.
But realistically,
that's really not what you're looking for.
No, we're grad students. We're somebody who wants their privacy, who's got a car, who's got,
professor coming in teaches.
Right. We're a teeny little place out there. Okay. We're kind of off the radar for many of the students, really. So right now, I mean, obviously there's, that's my retirement plan. I mean, if we're going to talk real serious about it,
sure.
I mean, like realistically, I don't have a 401k, I don't have insurance. I mean, Obamacare up in this business, like, cause I know what that costs, like I'm realistically, if my game plan, I'm 43, if I can own 10 properties over the next 10 years till I'm 53, and then at 63, I've got most of them paid off, I'm going to sell those bitches at 65 to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out. Like, peace out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
Either that or continue to cash flow them, and you get your monthly,
pass them
stipend
down
there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that's my retirement. So, obviously, we're pretty active watching the rental idea market, but I don't know that we want anything bigger than a 1 or 2 bedroom. Like duplex is awesome, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, duplex.
Well, I mean, being a landlord could get pretty labor intensive.
100%.
I mean, Pudge, you've managed yours very well. I mean, but like I mean, there's times you don't want that call, and hey, my hot water tank just blew up.
I priced mine to where if they call me, I call somebody else.
Yeah.
If you're waiting on, I'm not a carpenter.
Well, and that's what you got to do, right?
I'm a firm believer in it. I mean, I'm not trying to. I'll gladly come over if I can, but I mean, now I'm at the point with them. I mean, whenever, in my opinion, around here, like the big thing is $450, $500 a month, and you can't afford to upkeep your property at that.
Nah, property taxes plus everything else in there. Even if they're paying all the utilities, the cost is. Yeah. You bust a washer and dryer, or you bust a stove. I mean, a stove's $500. I mean, that's almost your whole month rent gone.
Yeah. So I was charging. I had a duplex. I still got it, and I was charging $500 a piece for the rent over there. And man, like the city made me upgrade my service. Because I didn't have a shut off on the electric box, so they made me upgrade my service. Well, it was like $5,000 or $6,000.
I was gonna say that's a couple grand a pop.
Yeah, and there's 2 of them.
Yeah,
and it was on stone, like it was on like a real aesthetic stone on the bottom of it. So you had it was all mortared and everything. It was just a big
Clean
job.
It all up.
It's expensive.
It was expensive because you had to make it match. The other box was built into the rock. So
you had to match the box, which probably you
couldn't do, So I mean, it was expensive. It was $6,000, And it's like, hey, there went. I mean,
that's like half your year in money right there
of gross.
Yeah,
not counting taxes, insurance, and payment. And it was like,
Gone.
Well,
Gone.
yeah, this year or the next 2 years, forget it. Yeah.
You didn't make any money
Yeah.
for 2 years because you went to pay for that.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like, man,
yeah.
shit.
And this is what I always had, Sandy had a hard time like catching on to at the beginning is that, so look past the idea that you're making X dollars every month. Because every time you do make that payment, then that equity is in your house now, right?
And that's-
So yes, you lost $6,000, but how far down have you, like, what's the equity in your house at that point? So like we paid off when we refied our house, our main house, we paid off the rental because
So now that's an asset.
now it's 100% asset.
And if you wanted to, you could farm money out of that.
Which
take a
is
mortgage
exactly
back
what
out.
we'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do a second mortgage on the rental
Sure.
to buy the next property,
Right.
and then we'll pay that off, and then we'll take a second mortgage on the rental
it's
to buy the next
just like a
property,
little farm, a little,
that,
little property
that
farm
property
there.
will forever
Growing
be the
money.
reason
Yeah.
that we steal money to buy something else, and
Absolutely.
that's the easiest way to do. You get your foot in the door with your first one, and then you just kind of leverage.
Well,
leverage that one.
I've heard people make the comment. I'm no expert. I'm not involved in it, but I've heard people make the comment that their first rental property, once they get it paid off, that's their ATM.
Yeah. And that's exactly right.
That's their real
Yeah.
estate ATM. That's where they always go back to get money.
Yep.
And they claim, and I would agree, there's inherently less risk in borrowing against a property that you're not living in.
Right, because and ours is in an LLC, right?
Sure,
So
yeah.
like the Radcliff Rentals or the Radcliff Real Estate
Gildan,
that is my LLC.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you
that's
gotta
going
have
to
it
take the
structured
hit,
like that.
right?
Oh,
I mean, that's not
absolutely.
going to be my personal
and
credit
I'm
score.
sure. I'm
I
sure
like
you're-
my 820 credit.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
and
I ain't
I'm
trying to mess it up.
I'm sure that your goal isn't to walk away from the property.
No.
But listen, I mean, things happen, and if you had to do that, you could, and you'd still walk away and be okay tomorrow.
Yeah, and realistically, if things would happen to get terrible in real estate, we've got an umbrella. Like we
Yeah.
can pull off of this guy a little bit over here, and the local banks will do a home equity line that's
Sure.
interest only, and so I'm paying $30 a month for that $40,000 that I just borrowed,
Yeah.
or whatever
I mean,
it
that's
is.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah,
and then
it's-
when I catch up, I catch up.
Yeah,
know?
you can really use it as a tool.
Yeah.
If you stay ahead of it. I mean, a lot of people do that, and I think it's genius if you're in the spot to do it and you get the right property.
And that was the trick.
Because I've also seen a lot of people do it and completely lose their ass.
Well, then a roof hits you for 20 grand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're, that you didn't factor in, and you're,
Well, and I mean, I've heard guys that are, they've taken a course or something, and they're going to start being landlords, and they want to talk to you about how they put a brick in the back of every toilet to save on their water bill or something
sure.
like this.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, dude, I'm not sure that your calculus is there, man.
Yeah, if you're trying to save that extra $3 of your water bill.
Yeah, I'm not sure that your calculus is where it needs to be to get in this game. I mean,
I never thought about doing that.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Okay, Pudge, get yourself 3 or 4 bricks.
I mean, I think beside the brick, you could probably just lower the bobber.
I don't know.
I mean, rather than put a brick in your
probably,
thing. I mean,
probably.
it's the
But
same,
which makes the better story?
It's
though,
your story.
Josh.
Yeah, the brick in the toilet. The brick in the toilet. Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, no, it's a cool job. I mean, it's definitely the best thing that I've ever done financially and for a career in my life. I mean, I've done, obviously I worked in radio when I graduated from school. I was a telecommunications major with media studies as my minor, and I wanted to be a radio DJ, and I did it for 4 or 5 years while I was in school. I went to Pittsburgh and I did some stuff in Wheeling and back and forth, and I realized that, hey man, you can't raise a family on a DJ's income for radio. Like, you just can't do it, you know, and unless you're in a major market, and then even then it's probably not great. And also, it's incredibly cutthroat. I was like, I'm out. Like, this doesn't work for me. So I dropped that out. I started doing managing some restaurants. I did Buffalo Wild Wings as a general manager there for a while. And I worked in banking. I sold beer. I worked at Southeast Beverage. I sold Red Bull. I mean, I did a lot of shit. And then I finally found my way to real estate, and it's definitely been a better animal than anything I've ever done, for sure. Yeah. And it wasn't easy. I mean, the first 2 years, I mean, that's the years where people quit. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to get your foot in the door, for sure.
Well, I mean, it's just like insurance, like with what you're doing, or anything like that. When you step
I was
out on your own.
5-6 years before I was really in the groove on insurance. I'm coming up on year 8.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we've been doing this shit about the same time.
Yeah, I started in 2013. So.
Yep, 13. This spring will be my 8th year.
Yep.
I mean, you've really the grind on the front end is hard.
Oh, about, I mean,
Building that client
people used to tell me
base.
about playing music, they'd be like, why are you playing music, man? You got that insurance. Well, shit, man, I started a scratch insurance agency. I had to play music. I mean,
That's where I'm actually making money.
I started at
Daddy's
zero.
got bills to pay here, dude.
I started
Yeah.
at zero and had a brand new baby. And I mean, because whenever I started at Gillum Insurance, like real estate's what I call front end load money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very heavy up front. I mean, you don't make anything year two, where I make the same thing the first time as I do the second year.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And so it's kind of
can build it. It's cumulative.
It's cumulative, yeah.
Right.
And so I mean, whenever I first started, so there, those big pops, I couldn't go sell a house and put $4,000 in my pocket. I had to sell $50,000 worth of inventory to make $4,000.
Yeah.
And so that's why I started. I mean, I played music. I'd tell Mindy, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna start gigging again." I mean, not that like it was come home and here's the electric bill, but I
Sure.
mean, it was like, but it was
Well,
like,
made the electric bill tonight, honey.
and maybe there was sometimes that was. I mean, man, I remember,
Dude, there's no question we've all been there.
100%,
everybody's been there.
100%.
Yeah. I'm
Yep.
glad I'm glad I'm out of it.
Hey,
now.
I'll tell you what, I don't miss it.
I don't
Yeah.
miss it.
That
No, no.
$80 that I made because we split it with 4 other guys that
Yeah,
night.
it helped. It helped
That
Monday.
bitch went straight to the water bill.
Yeah.
I know for a fact
Yeah,
they did that.
yeah.
Like for sure.
yeah.
And hell, I'm not too proud to admit it. I mean,
I was
it
doing I was a karaoke DJ for 10 years, man. I
Yeah.
get the gig out late night bullshit, like
'Cause you had to.
Because I had to 2 nights
Yeah.
a week.
and it's too good of money to pass up.
It was
At the
until
time.
until I was 10 years into it, and I was like,
Yeah.
missing my kids at night and shit.
Yeah.
and
Now,
like-
how much could I make if I sold all this shit?
Yeah. Well,
all this equipment.
Yeah. Well, I started a band instead,
Oh,
so it
okay,
didn't really it didn't really go anywhere,
I
unfortunately.
probably made 20-30 grand messing around in music.
Oh, I did well.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if you think 10 years at $300 twice a week, $600 a week for 10
Yeah.
years, I mean, I
you did
paid
well.
some bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice, and the downfall was it was always on Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh yeah, man.
But
it's
the
a-
good
yeah,
thing
it's-
about it was it was like 8 hours and all weekend, and I'd
Yeah.
bring home $1,000.
You can still mow the lawn on Saturday. and get out
Yeah,
and do your thing
if
you
as
know.
long as you didn't turn it into a party.
Now is
You
the
know?
it pretty much is the fee that you receive
Mm-hmm.
for playing music the same in Columbus, Cleveland, Athens,
No.
Jackson? No, there's not like a flat fee.
No. And
I priced it by the job.
And I wish I knew more, like from area to area. And I've asked some guys about that, like these cats that wanted us to come up and play at the Outpost there in Kent. They're a Foo Fighters tribute band, and we'll play with them sooner or later. We've been trying for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And but I asked him, and I'm gonna hit him again and be like, hey man, so what's the Outpost? What are they paying you to be there? Like seriously, like what's the cut? Because he kept asking me, hey, what do you guys need to get up here? What do you need to get up here?
So he's getting the cut, and then
Oh, yeah.
Or
And
is
he's
he
paying
doing or
you.
is he doing what you're doing and perhaps renting the venue out?
No, not that joint. I think he needed to propose to them what they were going to do because he was looking for an opener at that point, and he
Okay.
knew that he wanted us to come up there and play with them because the fit would have been great.
Perfect,
Alice in
yeah.
Chains and Foo Fighters, or Alice in Chains and Godsmack, or realistically any of those rock tribute, grunge style rock bands would be great. I'd love. There's a really good Korn tribute in Columbus too, and I'd love to do an Alice in Chains Korn combo too. But
That'd be really cool.
I saw them. Well, I saw them actual
Yeah, I was
bands
gonna
live
say
a couple
that,
years ago, and it was pretty good. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious what those venues actually do pay up there. Yeah.
I mean, like in Nashville, you don't get paid.
Oh, well, no, hell no. Why would Nashville
Colum-
pay anybody to play?
Yeah.
Columbus, I mean,
Yeah, they're not.
they don't
Talk about a surplus
pay
of
any better.
people.
Well, that's kind of what I guess that's where I was going with the question is, like, if you look at Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati.
No, they don't
here
pay
in
any
Ohio.
better.
Well, because, the thing is, they've got more volume. There's more to choose from. They're going to play there.
But what you've also got is, you might be able to go into private parties and charge $1,000. You can't do that in Jackson.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
But up there you could.
Right. But, like, if you're looking at bars or
Yeah,
going to
bars.
play in bars.
No, you're
like
gonna pay,
they-
you're gonna make less. This is the highest This is the highest paying bar area around.
Yeah, you're going to get paid more
Here,
because
yeah.
they
There's
need
not a
talent.
crop. Yeah, there's not a crop down here really
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would like to. I wish we could get out and gig more up there. I mean, that's always been my idea. Once we started the Alice in Chains thing, I really had this vision that we could be the tri-state's premier Alice in Chains tribute band. You know what I mean?
But how many times are they going to come? I mean, not to bust your stuff.
No.
But I mean, like, it's not like you're going to be like a house band, or
No.
you're not going to play places. You have to travel because
you have to travel
because they ain't going to come hear you again.
That's 100% of the story.
Yeah.
And like, I think, if you could have, let's say you had 4 core shows in, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia.
and did them once a quarter.
Do them once a quarter, and then just surplus. Even if you just did a couple little hodgepodges here,
Yeah.
the Adelphia or
You'd
the
be fine.
Stockroom, or that would be our 6 shows. That would be great. But you got to have the willingness to get there. You know what I mean? Like, what is your dollar? What is the dollar that it has to get in your pocket to get you in the car, or are you ready to just come and crash and hang out?
Well, and the
I'm ready to
answer,
crash.
the answer for you is $0.
No, yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really want to spend a lot of money
No.
to do it, but
But
you're
whenever
not
you
got
got
to
miss
money.
a ball game to go play music,
That's a problem.
And we've been there.
That's a
you know,
problem.
when
That's a
when
problem.
Scott's kids were all in different sports, like Coulter, his oldest son, when we were high into the cover band stuff, was in Athens high school football. He was the fucking center for Joey Burrow. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
we watched
yeah.
this shit go down.
Yeah.
And like, obviously he's not going to miss a game. You know what I mean? So that kills. Like, and then my drummer Mike, he was the percussion instructor and assistant band director for Nelsonville, York. So he's out all fall.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I mean, there was a serious conflict, scheduling conflict issue that now is gone. And I'm having a hard time getting him out.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time getting him out. Like, and
Well,
that's- it
they
sucks.
probably kind of got used to being close to home and doing that.
I mean, and there's a comfort level of playing within an hour and a half that, with, Mike, he's not a big fan of like the stayovers and the crash and the get out. Like, he's more than happy to, and like I said, I love Mike, and I don't ever want to sound like I'm not loving Mike, because his
you guys are
decision,
boys.
his decision is his, and I've been with him forever and I will be, but he doesn't want to go out and do that stuff. And I have to,
So
honor his decision. I guess
he's
realistically.
not looking for the overnight trips.
100%
and stuff
not.
like
In
that.
his mind, he's paying to play at that point, And even though
Okay.
we're not making whatever, don't pay to get out there. Like, he doesn't want to do the over. I mean, it's like let's just do the B&B.
Yeah, go have fun, man.
$50, it's no big
party a
deal,
little bit.
Yeah.
It's just principled for him. Like,
and
well,
it's
I'm not going to.
and like I
pay
said,
to,
it is what it is. Either we'll continue with him, or we'll find somebody who wants to travel and is as talented. Because I'm not going to settle. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's like either we play with him in the confines that we have,
Right.
or we find somebody who's as talented, which
it's going to be hard.
is not going to happen. Like, I ain't going to pretend.
Right,
he's
right.
good.
Well, and you guys. I mean, you're used to playing with him too.
We
There's
have
got to
the
be something
He's your
to
boy.
that.
Oh.
You
there's-
want him to be.
There's
there.
got to be
Mike and-
something.
yeah.
There's got to be something to that.
These
Like
are
when
these are the guys that I want to play with.
Yeah,
period.
that would be a special thing, man.
Yeah.
I hope one of these days I can find it, because I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm ready just to kick back. I mean, I'm not looking at the music business to ever make me any money. No, I'm not looking at it to cost me a shit ton of time or money.
Yeah,
Sure.
right.
Right. But I
Well,
mean,
well, now, Pudge, I'll ask you this as a contrast. It sounds like Josh, you're always you're a band guy. You've always played with a band and all that.
I can do one thing well,
Okay.
and that's it. I can sing.
Yeah.
I can play rough guitar, and I played drums for most of my life, but not well enough to do anything other than just sing. And this, to do what he does, is a different animal for me.
Okay. Well, but I mean, yeah, it's a completely different animal. But also, like, Pudge, you've been in bands too. But, like, do you prefer just kind of the one man band? I mean, do you foresee yourself like doing more of that?
The atmosphere
No,
of a group
I mean,
is
yeah, I mean, I would love to have a good driving ass band. There's nothing better.
Hey, you find me
It's
a drummer
more
for
fun.
American Engine, and I'll make sure you guys got a room for it. We'll just
All
rock.
right.
We'll rock
All
that
right.
Blackberry Smoke and all
I'm
that.
in.
You know.
I would
boy.
love.
But seriously, I mean, I don't care how many people are in it. Like I said, we ain't trying to
Yeah.
make
Wow.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But realistically, if we've got,
But I want to dress the part. I want to look. I want to look, and I
Hell
want to
yeah.
feel the part. I want to put on a show. Like, I don't want it to
I don't
be
think
another
there's.
garage.
I don't
band.
think there's any other way
Right.
around it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's not.
Now.
How do you dress the part of Blackberry Smoke?
Well, I mean, you're not going to show up with your shirt tucked in. Wearing,
Oh, I got
wearing
you.
a polo shirt.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I mean, I went to Quarter
Yeah,
Horse
yeah.
Congress one year and took some guys with me, and I mean, I thought that was somewhere where you needed to dress Western.
Sure.
You didn't need to have
Well,
on.
yeah, hell yeah, you do.
Just a ball hat and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I've just always wanted that, and I know
Right, right.
everybody's gonna be like, "God damn, Pudge," but it's like, no, I think that to me, you don't go to work construction without wearing work boots.
But like I look at like Blackberry Smoke they're pretty eclectic, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I'm saying, I'd have to let my hair down. I mean, I can play like this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like in a flannel and
but you're not going to show up in a button up.
No.
But I think realistically,
boots, jeans.
The group of guys. I mean, we all get that shit. I mean, and that's always been the argument with a tribute band with Alice in Chains or any tribute. I mean,
sure,
you have to make that decision whether you're going to be, full
your
on
version
tribute and look like this.
Right.
Or
right.
are you going to be this guy tribute? There's an amazing Led Zeppelin tribute band out there locally. Well, they play Ohio. I don't know if they're local or not.
Yeah.
Get the Lead out, right? And like their preface when they go on stage is, "Hey, we do not look like Led Zeppelin, but we strive to be these guys, right? Vocally, musically, performance-wise, that's who we, and they put on a hell of a show.
Is that where you guys are as well?
We don't, I mean,
you kind of try to look.
this is the hard part with
hybrid
grunge in general, or Alice in Chains, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're not, you could look at, Stone Temple Pilots, and Scott Weiland has signature outfits. He's got a megaphone. He wears a tie. He's got that pilot hat. He's got, whatever. Yeah. He's got signature outfits. You could even say as far as like, a Pearl Jam tribute. I mean, you got a very dirty feel, right? Right?
Long hair.
But like if you look at and I did my damnedest to figure out what Alice in Chains should look like.
Right.
It's all over the place.
Yeah,
I mean, realistically, other than a couple like iconic photos of specific outfits, it's hard to find. And then when you go through the transition, if you think about the fact that these guys have been around since what, like 93?
That's what's amazing.
91,
and they're 90, someplace in the early 90s. Yeah, I wish I knew more. Again, I stay in my lane. I'm singing. I'm not. Yeah. But I loved them from their first.
They hit when I was in college. It was like 92, 93.
Right, when Facelift came out, they were this style. And then obviously through there, they changed a little bit. And then Lane dies. And then they pick up William Duvall to sing for him. And their look changes. And their music obviously has to change because they're writing at a different style. So we span all. You know what I mean? We play some of the newer stuff, and we play obviously a lot of the old. So where do you fall? So we got guys wearing like black, or whatever, and like, I was 30 pounds heavier, but I was trying to rock a wife beater there last year, and I was like, this ain't gonna work. And so you try to find that look, but realistically, the closest I can get is popping in a couple earrings and some bracelets, and just turning on the vocals.
Well, I mean, do the people really care though, man? They want to hear the music, right?
Or
they do.
They do care.
It's really weird.
It helps the vibe.
Okay.
It sets the room.
Okay.
They know, I've watched it from both ways, and I mean, if you show up and it looks like you didn't know what to wear,
you're not legit.
Well, it just kills the vibe.
Well,
yeah.
and that's there's gung ho tribute. Like there's a group, there's a production manager. His name's Tom Corsi, who I wouldn't say we're friends, but we're acquaintances, and we've kind of talked and whatever. And he does a big booking around Ohio, and he's got a Master of Tribute show, and he really likes the idea of looking like you are, right? And I've butted heads with him a couple times about what the hell do you think I'm supposed to look like?
Right.
Like, what do you think Alice?
What do you want me to do?
Like, you want me to put a fucking wig on? Because we're not gonna do that. Like, we don't wear wigs, right? Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
There's an Alice in Chains cover band, tribute band in Cleveland area called Alice Sin, Alice S-I-N, right? And they dress up. Like they wear wigs, like and musically they're pretty okay. Like I'm not gonna. They're pretty solid, right? But they also dress up. But when they dress up, I think they look fucking silly. Like it just looks.
Well, it's like, man, there's
silly.
one band ever that's allowed to dress up. That's Kiss. Yeah.
Right. But if you're a Kiss tribute band, you should wear makeup.
You should.
I can fully.
And I'm with that. But though the thing is, like, I'm kind of with you, and I think Alice in Chains, and forgive me if I'm way off or my knowledge is terrible here, but like their look changed considerably
all the time.
over a period of years. So, like, I think it would be very difficult to say, oh, they look like Alice in Chains.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Like,
roll,
if you guys
yeah.
came out there and looked like a grunge band, like,
I'll
you
kiss
look like
your,
Alice in Chains.
I'll kiss your ass if you're listening right now. If
Yeah.
you can close your eyes and picture Alice in Chains.
That's exactly what went into my head.
Most of the time they're shirtless
Yeah.
and then like
Yeah.
cut off cargo shorts.
Now,
I
yeah,
mean,
Red Hot
yeah.
Chili Peppers, yeah, you can picture them.
Yep.
Metallica, you can picture them. Nirvana, you can picture them. Stone Temple Pilots, you
Yeah.
can picture the lead singer.
The
You
lead
can
singer
picture Scott,
only.
but you cannot delete.
Yeah.
Delio?
Alice, yeah,
Can't
Scott
think of
Delio.
There are two. No, Weiland was the singer. The guitarists were the brothers. But anyway, I can't remember what their names are.
Now,
right
the
now.
lead singer, he's still alive.
Scott died.
He died.
He was the one that overdosed. Yeah.
he overdosed. Now, Lane Staley died back in what,
Early twos,
yeah,
for sure.
02, 03 probably.
And he overdosed too. Yeah.
Only Stone,
But
only
I just
STP
think,
song he was
I mean, I guess my point was like, man, like, I don't know how you could do the look for Alice in Chains wrong.
It's impossible.
Like, unless you showed up in ties and suits.
But even
or
then, you
something
know what?
like-
The funniest thing, one of the most like seen pictures that I've seen, like of Lane Staley on stage, and he's wearing a brown
black-
suit with a
No
tie.
kidding. No
full-ass
kid- no-
tie on.
no kidding, man.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never
so
seen
I
that.
mean, like,
Yeah.
and I've looked for all of these things because I was like, okay, so like if I could have 3 outfits
Yeah.
that everybody, when you look up, when you go onto Google Images and you
And you
type in
look
Lane
up-
Staley and
yeah.
you pop up and like these bump, 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 those are the 3 pictures. Those are the 3 outfits that I want to have.
Sure.
You know, so I've got a pair of cargo shorts and a white T-shirt and a pair of Vans.
Right.
Done. Easy. Got that one.
Right,
Okay.
right.
You know, I've been dying to make this. He wore this sun necklace, and I've been trying to find it for at least something that looks similar to it for almost 2 years now. Just leather with a sun medallion right here. He wore that and a couple things. He had this, and I've got a couple like big broad collared paisley old. Unbuttoned clear to here
Yeah,
shirts, long
yeah.
sleeve shirts. I've got one of the, so I mean, I've tried to find some of that shit over time, but then I think, how much do people even appreciate what's going on right now? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
what if
that's-
I just
that's
wore
a-
a
yeah.
black T-shirt, my black pants, and my black cowboy boots with the rider's harness on the side of them, and just came up and just blew this shit up?
I don't know that anybody would say, well, man, they don't have that vibe. They don't look like Alice in Chains. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't see that.
No, I think it's a uniformity thing. If we're all either in the black rock style and we're up there doing our thing, I think we're
Right.
all right. I mean, that's the long. If,
Well, because I mean, I would say like Alice in Chains to me was not a band that necessarily had a look.
not even a little bit.
You know what I
And
mean?
honestly, like the argument
They
was,
didn't
are
have
they
a
really?
brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
are they really grunge? Was always the argument.
Yeah.
Like, they came out in that beginning of that scene where they were almost heavier rock,
Yeah.
and then you had like. Your Chili Peppers and your Pearl Jams and not even STP really, but like some of those other guys that were more of a grunge feel.
yeah, Nirvana,
100%. Yeah, exactly.
And
So-
and they were kind of wearing the flannels and they looked dirty.
Yeah.
and
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 you
there's
know,
a couple
that
pictures
kind
of Alice in Chains with flannels on, but it's not like they're.
Well, that
just-
wasn't really like. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm speaking way out of turn here. I probably don't.
You
know.
left it.
I really liked their music.
Yeah, I was
and
into
was
it.
fairly into them. I mean, I had all their CDs.
It was your basic white boy college.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
right there.
like
yeah.
I was in college when all of that stuff hit, man. So like I was.
it was pumping through your
yeah,
parties.
Yeah, no, but I wasn't trying to dress like them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
but like I just
That was
don't-
the vibe.
Yeah, and I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember Alice in Chains, or even like I would have trouble relating even like Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Like when you saw them, but like I don't know that I could establish a quote unquote look.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Nirvana
You know?
really pulled off and pushed the
Nirvana,
idea
I
of
could.
the flannel.
Yeah, the
and
flannel,
Pearl Jam was the big tied around the waist flannel look. That was big.
Seattle.
The Seattle grunge
just the
sound,
Seattle
right, sure.
grunge.
Yeah, and then but then you had Weezer like that would
Coming
come
out in like sweaters.
Oh,
yeah,
I know,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Which
all that
I
shit
wouldn't
came out
consider
around the
those
same time.
grunge.
Well,
Because
yeah.
you went from like that Weezer, and then you had You had
Green Day.
Green Day. Yeah. What would you call that genre? Punk.
Blink
It's a little more
182.
Yeah.
And Blink was even a little further into the line towards the end. But I mean, you had and in that whole mix, I mean, you had people like Sublime. You had the Beastie Boys. I mean,
311.
Oh, Beastie. Yeah,
you had frickin' Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You had
yeah.
some really like lost
Jane's
in the
Addiction.
fold stuff in there too.
And at the
you
same
know?
time, you had
Foo
Tom Petty and the
Fighters.
Heartbreakers coming
Oh,
out with
yeah.
things like
music was great.
You Don't Know How It Feels, which was very similar to that vibe.
Mary Jane's Last Dance. I
Yeah.
mean, they had a lot of stuff coming out. Tom Petty had a resurgence around that time.
He did.
I mean,
It's crazy.
You know the
I
funk-
couldn't name a band right now.
You know the I tell
Like
you,
new rock.
I hate to admit this.
Oh, I'm with you, man.
Did you see? Did you see my Instagram story?
Which one?
Did you see it?
I didn't check it today.
Which one was it, man? I was not on social media a lot today.
Man, I have taken a deep ass dive.
Into
A deep ass
oh
dive.
god, I can't wait. Tell me into who?
NWA, Dr. Dre. Snoop
Oh, my
Dogg.
God.
I mean, so I've watched NWA the movie.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
watched
Oh,
it when
yeah,
it came
yeah,
out,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I've still.
yeah.
I've been into this, like the whole drama behind Suge Knight and Dr. Dre.
But, have you ever listened to Eazy-E?
Oh,
Easy
yeah.
Does It.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
One
Boy,
of the
you should've
greatest
known by
albums.
now.
Well, one of the greatest albums of all time.
Well, he
I
was
know
a true
every
crisp.
word to every
Crazy.
lyric.
So now
on
have
that.
so now
Automobile. Everybody knows the
Yeah, oh,
lyrics
yeah.
to Automobile.
Yeah,
Ice
everybody-
Cube, no Vaseline, and he fucking calls those motherfuckers out, and I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn! People are
was
mad at
brutal.
Morgan Wallen, and this
brutal.
motherfucking Ice Cube is just, jeez,
Hey,
and
dude, that was hot.
hot. And
In the 80s
So
and
now,
90s,
did you know? Right now, Snoop Dogg and Eminem are at it.
I didn't
Oh, they're not.
realize
They're
that.
not
Yeah,
cooperating
Snoop
anymore.
Dogg had a well. I don't think they ever did. So they
It
were
was on the same label side of things with Dre and Snoop and everybody.
So they were interviewing Snoop Dogg, and they asked him about his top 10, and they asked him about Eminem. And he was like, I love him, but I've never been down with that. It's not my thing or whatever. And then I guess that reporter like saw that and just kept prodding him. Well, then Eminem was just like, well, it's fucked up. He's talking about me and shit. Well, then Snoop comes out with this like old school beat
Oh.
diss today, and it's like a rap battle.
Hey, I'll tell you, man, I used to always have a theory, and I hope it's not like, I know everybody's kind of sensitive now, and I am too.
This will be the last podcast.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, this isn't going to be bad. But I used to always compare like gangster rap and that, and like they're like infighting and stuff to professional wrestling.
Oh, sure.
Like
Well, there's
they
a
have-
little
it's
bit.
just-
There's a little bit of stage drama.
That's
in
what
that.
I'm saying. That's
they're
what I'm
doing
saying,
that just
man.
for a little.
That's what
I mean, until you
Like,
start pulling guns and Biggie falls and
well,
Tupac
yeah,
drop.
I mean, the
it
problem
gets a little
is like,
crazy.
yeah, the
Somebody takes it
problem is
personally.
sometimes it gets real.
Yeah.
But and like, I mean, maybe that is a bad take, but like I always kind of compared it. I remember back in the day being like, man, I mean, this is like, I mean, this is like soap operas
For sure.
for adults.
Yeah, you don't see that country.
No. You don't see George Strait and Garth
Alan
Brooks.
Jackson.
Like,
That's
yeah,
true.
Yeah.
The new boys going after the old guys or whatever.
Yeah.
They write songs about them and tribute them.
Sandy, exactly. Sandy is a big country person, and she's old country. Like she listens to prime country.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the highway, like it's her job, right?
Yeah.
And some of the stuff is, and I don't even know what part of the country stuff that I can get behind, because it's just like this, right? It's like a roller coaster. You just don't really know until you get there. Like the bro country stuff, some of it's okay. Like I would probably piss on just about anything Florida Georgia Line brought to the table right now.
Other than our boy Donnelly's song "Sitting Pretty."
But even that, like it's, you know what? Florida Georgia Line is the Nickelback of country music. I will say it right now. If nobody else has said it before, they are the country band everybody will shit on when they aren't making music anymore.
Honestly,
but
though.
everything they put out, gold. Like it's just great. It's
tight shit.
palatable. It's
It is.
harmonizing. It's
It is.
It's catchy.
Catchy.
Yeah.
It's
fuck
got a
those
good beat.
guys. Like,
Yeah, they've got
but
it.
I just hate it. I can't. And it's like Nickelback too, because I sing all their songs because I know it. Like we did Cruise in the cover band. Like I know that
Oh,
song,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like,
Why does everybody hate Nickelback?
I don't know.
I think there was a factor to that where they were just overplayed.
I used to
It was
love
an
it.
To
over
your point,
commercialized, overplayed.
Well, and the thing was like once they had their first, like, let's say 5 hits, let's give them that.
Yeah.
Then like on radios and stuff at the time, anything they put out just boom,
on fire.
playing every 15
Yep.
minutes, dude.
Yeah.
Over and
And it-
over.
I used to love that song, Rockstar.
Well, dude, I gotta
That-
be honest with you.
How
Like,
you
I
remind
like them all.
me,
Yeah.
Photograph.
I mean, yeah.
all that shit.
I
was
think it's
fire.
good, man.
Like,
Yeah.
and
I love that. I love that like thing on like Facebook.
this
Yeah, look at this
this
photograph.
Look
Yeah, I love it whenever it's that big black guy that's always in the like what's up, man? And he's like,
look at this photograph.
Yeah, that was a funny meme for a long.
That was,
time.
yeah.
I think Nickelback's downfall was like in that crossover between Sirius XM, the satellite radio,
Yes.
and from Real Radio, and all the Real Radio was like blowing them up.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you couldn't get away from them.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying on that? Like, it was just
Oh,
like, I mean, and I think
It was
that's
on
what kind of
repeat
turned people off.
constantly.
And it was like, then they would release a new one,
Yeah.
and they would just jam
Well, they
it
didn't
down
slow
your
it
throat,
down,
dude.
Like
Yeah,
it was
I
like
mean,
that one was still number one, so
Isn't that
they're
what
going
you're
to
supposed to do?
right now. Well, that's the production value of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, they were winning. I mean, you were just, I mean, to me, that's what got people kind of like, yeah, come on, man.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
I think they were saying like they were writing the songs specifically to sell on the radio. Like they were writing radio songs, and that's what people were getting pissed off about. I was like, ain't you trying to make money too, man? Like I don't understand. Like you should. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
So
right,
you're
right,
really
right.
mad because you're not selling records. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
what
it
it
comes
is.
down to, right?
Yeah. It turns out
But, I
that you
mean-
might be jealous.
But that's
yeah.
that's the way I am too. Like, but I guess maybe my roots kind of run back a little bit deeper. Like Chris Stapleton, I like Chris a lot because I think I like the Blackberry Smokes. Like
Yeah.
I kind of fall into that vibe a little bit there too. You know, the Sam Hunt stuff is a little too rappy
I
for
think
me
he's
to be
talented.
country, but he's got good stuff.
Brothers Osborne style.
Brothers Osborne's pretty good.
I
Yep,
really
I
like
like. But vocally, I don't really
You're
care
not
for
there.
I don't really care for the
That's not
vocals.
your- yeah, that's not
yeah.
your thing.
You know,
Yeah.
the really like, the other guy. Yeah, it doesn't really do much for me, but like I can see the appeal,
like
especially to
Hardy?
the older country cats.
You heard of Hardy?
I heard of Hardy, but I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Yep, he's got some good shit.
But I guess I spread all genre really. I mean, there's shit
too.
everywhere.
I like Chris Jansen. I like him.
I know the name. Again, I couldn't. I'd probably if I'd heard his songs. I'd say that's why you need like a tape. Thinking, what about this song over here?
Well, you can on YouTube.
Boop 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 boop.
Yeah, eventually we'll have the production quality where we'll just pipe it through.
Yeah.
And what do you think
You'll
of this
be on.
one?
You'll be on catch back there and be like, "Hey, push play on that Chris Stapleton single. Play that body like a back road. Sam Hunt.
Pull up some pictures of Alice in
Yeah,
Chains.
let's see what they look like
yeah,
right
yeah.
now, and it'll be over here. Yeah. Then you'll know to plug that.
Yeah, Josh, stand up beside that picture. Yeah.
That's the funniest thing. Okay, so I'm not to pull us all the way back around here,
Yeah,
but
let's
like
do it.
randomly. Okay, so there's a picture of Lane Staley in concert live, right? And he's like leaning over a speaker. Here, I'll go profile for you. Like
Yeah.
he's singing into this. He's singing into his microphone like real hard, right? And I'm sitting with my wife one night, and I'm looking for pictures. I'm like, "Where's this outfit? How do I look like Lane Staley?" Da, 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 da. And I come across this profile picture of him, and I go, "Oh." And I showed her. I was like, "Hey, check this out." And she looks at it, and she was like, "Where were you when you took that picture?" And I was like,
I
see?
hit it. There
So-
it is.
Right. So
Yeah.
like profile, I got a little Lane in me.
Well, all
here.
you got to do
It's-
is stand sideways, man.
Right,
Put
so I'm
going to
sing all my songs like this. Yeah, I'm going to sing everything this way, so that everybody's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
just
that's
put all
fucking
your
Lane.
mics to the side.
That's fucking
Yeah,
Lane,
yeah,
man. Yeah. So yeah, but there's something to be said about that, I guess. Looking like a singer.
Well, boys, we got anything else we need to talk about?
Oh, man, I think we've had a pretty good session
Pretty
here.
good session. So, Josh Radcliff, ladies and gentlemen, you got anything else you want to talk about, my man?
No, man, that's good. Appreciate you having me on here.
problem.
And, anytime we can get
Yeah,
together.
we'll do it
thanks
again.
for
You come
coming,
back
man.
on again?
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
good
for
times.
coming, man.
Hey,
Really
give
enjoyed
that
it.
like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit the like. Leave us some comments. Let Josh know what you thought about his episode. Let him know what you think about Alice in Chains or any other music that you want to hear.
Yeah, look
And,
at his profile.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Make sure you check all of our sponsors' web pages out there listed in the bio. Right, Tyler? Yep. So check them out. Thank you guys. Peace.